perfect timing. Life's an everyday adventure. That's my philosophy. Today we had the perfect day set up. All we had to do was stick to the schedule and it would be one of the best days ever. Just as we were getting ready to leave, Uncle Marcus called my mother from a far-away place. He had so many great stories my mother couldn't get off the phone. Even though I knew we were going to be late, I had fun pretending I knew the fabulous stories Uncle Marcus was sharing. Finally, she finished the call, and as she rushed, she grabbed her purse. But it got stuck on the pitcher of lemonade. Smash! The pitcher broke and lemonade went all over the kitchen floor. We cleaned it up quickly, then thought we should take the soggy garbage out. Suddenly, we heard a ripping noise, and now, instead of lemonade, there was garbage all over the floor. The broken glass must have ripped the bag. Once again, we cleaned it up as fast as we could so we could start our big day. We quickly hopped in the car before anything else could go wrong. I didn't know what time it was, but I was pretty sure we were going to be really late for, well, everything. When we got to the end of the street, the dog barked from under a blanket in the back seat. My mother and I screamed, "Ah!" then giggled. How did my dog get in the car? We turned around to drive her back home. Our day was not starting at all like we planned, but for some reason my toes were tingling like popcorn popping in my moccasins. Finally, we got to our first stop to see my favorite magician, Mr. McBoo. We rushed into the theater where he was performing, and everything was gone, except his big black table. We were too late. My mother tried to make me feel better by telling me he would be back next year, but I was really sad. Mr. McBoo popped up from behind his table and said, "No need to be sad. I'm still here." I couldn't believe it. Mr. McBoo was speaking to me. I felt so special. "I'm sorry we missed your show, Mr. McBoo," I said as I shook his hand. Then he asked me what my favorite number was. 5, I quickly responded. Without skipping a beat, he found a penny in both of my ears, one in each of my moccasins, and one in my hair. 5 pennies just for you, he said as he handed them to me. Next, he asked what my favorite color was. That was an easy answer. Pink. The very next second, he pulled a pink scarf from his sleeve and tied it around my mother's neck. My mother was so surprised it made us both laugh. Magic is so much fun. As we were saying goodbye to Mr. McBoo, he asked me one more question. He wanted to know which animal I liked the most, giraffes, swans, or dogs. I had to say dogs because I love mine so much. Next thing I knew, he had made me a balloon dog. Mr. McBoo was fantastic. We thanked him and told him we promised to be on time for next year's show. Our perfectly planned day was not working, but we were having a great time anyway. We decided we could do the grocery shopping tomorrow and go right to the free ice cream hour at the ice cream shop. When we arrived, the doors were locked. We were too early. Once again, we were a little sad, so we sat on the bench outside of the ice cream shop to think about what to do. If we hadn't been sitting there at that exact moment, Mrs. Page, the librarian, wouldn't have seen us and told us that the book I was waiting for had come in, and she is saving it for me. This was great news, but when were we going to have time to get it? On our way back to the car, we passed our favorite bakery. We decided to say a quick hello and surprise our friends Mr. Cup and Miss Cake. When we walked in, no one was there. We called their names a couple of times. Then Miss Cup came running out from the kitchen with different colored frosting all over her. She asked us if we had a little time to help. A huge order for cupcakes had just come in, and they were trying to finish it. We thought it would be really fun, so we agreed. They put aprons on us, and we hit the kitchen. Wow! There were cupcakes everywhere, and most of them needed frosting. We each took a color and began frosting. As we were finishing them, Mr. Cup was placing them in boxes for delivery. I finally frosted the last cupcake, and Mr. Cup said, "We're so thankful you surprised us today and had time to help us. We couldn't have done this without you two." He gave us each a hug and one of his giant chocolate chip cookies as he rushed out to deliver the cupcakes. On the way home, it was beginning to get dark. As I was looking out at the big farm we always pass by, I thought I saw something. Then I was sure I saw something. There was a horse running, followed by a donkey running, followed by the farmer running. They were all headed towards the open gate. My mother quickly pulled over, and we shut the gate just before the horse got out. The farmer arrived just after the donkey and said, "Perfect timing. Thank you for being in the right place at the right time." Even though our schedule was off all day, it was still a great day, and it all seemed to work out perfectly. I always knew you could be late or early or even surprise people, but now I know about perfect timing too. Molly Moccasins, everyday adventurer.